Happy Halloween! How are you guys doing? We thought we would make a video of our Halloween decorations. I love Halloween. I love decorating for all the holidays, especially Halloween. So you can just kind of do a little, Jody's gonna scan here a little bit. Remember, I'm Rayvon of Days of Adventure. Okay, Jody, let's go over here and show them some things over here.
Now we have a mix here of, sometimes we have a theme and sometimes we have kind of a mix.
It's always different, isn't it?
Yeah. Of vintage and new and DIY projects, because we do a lot of those. And Nightmare Before Christmas, because Mom's a big fan of that. And monsters.
Vintage mask. Twilight slash
Twilight.
Nightmare.
That's a
crossover
DIY project.
Yeah, and a wonderful one.
Okay, I'm following you.
Okay. So over here we have some more of our vintage, reproduction vintage.
Vintage inspired.
Yeah. I love my little crows up there.
These crows are cool. We got these off of eBay last year.
So this is a combination of new, old, vintage, and DIY. Yep.
These little things here are kind of DIYs.
This is vintage.
Yeah.
Okay. I also paint gourds. So here's a couple of the gourds I paint. Over here we have kind of a neat little setup. Just before dark, there is a haunted house sticker on this window, so it looks like the ghosts are all floating around this haunted house. But it's kind of a neat look at night, all the ghosts skimming around. These are some of my little pumpkins I've collected over the years. Over here is a mishmash of some DIY and
inside an old Victrola. Yeah. So there's a record player in there.
Believe it or not.
And this is kind of an interesting selection of, you got your eyeballs and your crow's feet and your basilisk scales and your witch's brew and your bat wings and eye of newt.
Some magic potion.
Magic potion. This guy is a DIY project that she did a few years ago, right? This was like one of these cool old vintage flamingos, but the head was broken off.
And didn't know where the head was. They saved them for years and I couldn't find them. So I finally decided to do something with them.
So she bought one of those like skeleton bats and then took the head off of that and put it onto the flamingo and the wings and then painted it all up.
Added a few bones down on the bottom there.
So it's... And this is a pretty cool thing we got a couple of years ago. They did at the Disney store, they did these jars that have the ghosts from the Haunted Mansion.
Be sure to bring your death certificate.
So it lights up and it's for Captain Culpepper Klein, the sea captain.
And she says several different things.
Yeah. And over here, you want to talk about these books that you just finished?
These books are something that I've been working on for a couple of years. And for the first time ever, last year I watched Hocus Pocus. I'd never watched it before and I went, more I watch it, the more I like it. So I just kind of, from the idea of the Hocus Pocus magic book, I made myself a little book with the eyeball on it. And that is a vintage lamp back there, the pumpkin one. I have quite a few. In fact, out in my barn, I have quite a setup of. Maybe we'll make a video of that too in the next day or two of all those out there. These are just a couple of creepy little doll heads that I found one time at a sale, and I just put some candles in them so they're lights. Their eyes are flickering kind of weird.
We'll show you in the dark.
Jody loves them. A die cut, a vintage die cut. We have tons of those too. Just not very many up this year. It kind of changes out. One year I literally put every single Halloween thing I had out. This room was plastered, floor to ceiling. The
It was
ceiling,
a bit much.
everything. It was crazy. So now I've just kind of, there's still a lot of things I didn't bring out, but a little selective. But I love this picture down here. The little kids holding their little pumpkins. Oh, and this is my latest DIY.
You can tell Meatball is trying to give you some information as well.
Meatball.
And the golden skull we found in that cave that time.
Oh yeah, in that cave, yeah. So up above here, that's just a repro pumpkin thing up there. I kind of like how they did it, and that's again another gourd that I painted. Over here, a couple of things on the wall, but that's a original die cut.
Was this sign from the Dollar Tree?
Yes, it was.
They've had some pretty cool ones.
Yeah.
Were you wanting to talk about this DIY that you just did?
Oh yeah. So it's just I think when the video started, Jody showed you my little fairy skeletons. So this was just one of those fairy skeletons from the dollar store, and I just decided to give her a little look. I just kept pulling stuff out and adding it to her and adding to her. You can never add too much.
Well.
She had a little hat, and then I had this moon. I love this moon. I thought, oh, why not add the moon up there and the little stars around, floating around the moon. And then my daughter Bree said, wings, why don't you get her bat wings? And I said, great idea. So I made her some bat wings.
The skeletons you saw in the beginning, you followed a tutorial from a channel called Monster Tutorials, and they do really cool, like Halloween themed tutorials.
I don't know where I got that. I think I found it at a garage sale. So creepy. These pillows I just made out of some fabric and a little vintage kind of rickrack stuff, you would call it. It's just shiny little
Sort of.
beads that are all sewn together that I've had forever, and it probably came from my grandparents when they had their tailor shop back in the day.
But it sort of kind of reminds you of the Haunted Mansion.
It does. Here's my little hanging witches that I've had forever.
Hanging
Since
witches.
Jody was a little baby, I had that.
You wonder why I like horror. That was hanging over my crib.
Of course it was.
It wasn't.
This is original vintage. I did these. But on the other side is the repro ones, and I love the cats. I love those. I love the cats.
This is a reproduction of also an original. Beistel, I think is the name of the company that makes them.
I think so.
And then that was a painting of a Dollar Tree wood thing they had this year.
I just painted it up.
And then there's all kinds of stuff over here.
Combination of vintage and
Vintage and new and some DIY.
this is supposed to be a little Harry
things.
Potter science thing. I just had to put that up.
This little book here was a project we did through the library. Our local libraries have craft projects for not just for kids, but they have adult ones too. And so this was one we did. It actually took quite a long time to do those page
Yeah.
folding.
Really fun though. I loved it.
And more vintage and vintage style things.
That little witch way in the back, she actually also has a stick, and it was supposed to be like you rode it around. Like
Oh yeah,
you would a
it's
little
like
horse.
a horse. It's kind of hard to see her, but she's kind of like a horse. What do you call those? You know, that has like a broomstick horse, like
Yeah.
one of those.
That's a reproduction. And this is another one I made.
Another gorge. you
Painted.
made.
Another one I painted. Oh, that's
Oh,
a
your mask fell down
vintage
there.
mask. This is also a vintage mask.
And another painted gourd. You did 2 cats, huh?
Mm-hmm. This is supposed to be a little pirate guy. Oh, and remember when we made these, Jody?
Oh yeah, this
Those-
was another one of our craft projects we did.
Mhm.
I think this was a Martha Stewart idea, wasn't it?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe so.
This one is mine, where it's like a little spider sitting on a thing, and then there's a little devil and a pumpkin guy.
I think Brie made the devil, didn't she?
I don't know.
I don't remember who made which ones now. Ah. This is, I love this stuff back here. I know Jody's creeped out by it, but I love those little
the Anna Lee things.
Anna Lee things, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess what we have another little lamp over there. It's
Another
vintage.
little blow mold and
Yeah.
a Ghouls Night Out record up there.
Ooh, you gotta show them what Bree's working on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and by the way, these are Hallmark placemats, vintage. Candy shop right here for the kids. Some big bars for some of our special guests. We don't really get very many trick-or-treaters, but you know, we enjoy the ones that come. It's usually we get a few regulars.
We get special stuff since we don't get too many. This is just one of these reproduction. It's not an old radio. It's like, you know, in the 90s when they made these radios, and Bree had gotten one at a garage sale or something and decided to paint it up all Halloween. So it's got a cool spider guy there and a bat.
I love her pumpkins. Look at this guy. So it's very rockabilly. She's got a little more work to do here. She was talking about
she's going to do
some spider webs and music notes that are supposed to look like the stars.
So she's almost done with that.
And oh, and those little bats up there are ones that I made. They were dollar store things. I just took some planet cloth or something, or tissue, I think, and put over it the wings, so it made it look like more wings than just the.
Kind of embellished them a bit.
Yeah, embellished them a bit. Yep. And over there is
a skeleton lights.
And that's a homemade cat. Bree did that one.
Paper mache lantern.
Over here we have. We don't have batteries in it right now, or the cord. Don't know what he did with the cord.
So
But-
you might have seen these before. It's like an old witch. But Mom took it apart a couple of years ago and actually changed her makeup and her hair to make her look like Madame Leota from the Haunted Mansion.
Painted her face white and gave her
Yeah.
blue hair.
So,
And this is our little Day of the Dead display. It will have honors on November 1st, but right now it's just over in the corner. But we do on November 1st, we'll do a big old Day of the Dead movie thing, and
we watch Coco.
Coco Ann, also
Book of the Dead.
Book of the Dead, yeah.
That's a gourd back there, another gourd that she painted that's skeleton, but then looks like the spinal cord.
Yeah. Oh, and these little painted skulls that we made.
This was another one of the library projects we did. They had these black velvet skulls from Target, and then at the library, and then they kind of showed us some different inspirations for Day of the Dead, and then we painted up the skulls. And then these things back here were actually from Michael's a couple of years ago, and they're just like the raw wood that you paint up.
But they'd light up, which
Yeah.
we don't have the lights on them right now, but they do light up, and they look really neat when they're lit up.
And then that picture there is sitting up there with Cookie Puss. I always say we should dress him up for the different holidays, especially Halloween, since people seem to be a little freaked out by him.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight on our little video of our Halloween decor. We hope you have a very happy Halloween season. And make sure and like, subscribe, and comment. We love the comments. We love to read them and hear what thoughts you guys have of everything and maybe even what you guys are doing. So let us know. If you got a video that you make, we would love to see it. So with that, we'll tell you